Hi, this is Barbara Howard, here to talk to you today about Chatez, a platform for care of children with disabilities and autism. I'm a developmental behavioral pediatrician on the faculty of Johns Hopkins, as is the co-creator of Chatez, Raymond Sterner. Chatez is a clinical process support system called that because it helps with all aspects of care, from pre-visit data collection using over 500 available tools, moment of care decision support at the visits, post-visit engagement with patients for patient education, tracking over time and access to resources, and clinician education. Chatez was built with over $18 million in NIH funding, and now over 2 million patients and caregivers are enrolled, about 100,000 doing questionnaires per month in 49 United States and a little bit in 10 other countries. Chatez is a HIPAA and high-tech compliant secure system, which also meets criteria for the privacy of school systems called FERPA, and Chatez is integrated with a number of electronic health records, with more on the way, with customs integrations available. Chatez is good for all parts of care of children. It's very easy to use. Offices set up auto assignments of what questionnaires they want assigned for what age child, even correcting for prematurity, and what type of visit. Patients then use a simple invitation code to register themselves and complete questionnaires, which are instantly scored and available for the clinician to use during the visit, and patients access patient-specific resources and education in individual web pages. This is a schematic showing a teenager under a separate login from the parent, both doing this from home or in the waiting room. The results can be shared with teachers, including collecting teacher data, and with other professionals, here depicting a psychologist in the community. The results show up in the resources for the patient show up in individual care portals, and the clinician can use the information for care. So how does Chatez help with triage, screening, and diagnosis? For general pediatric care, we have tools for every aspect of pediatrics: mental health, developmental screening, plus also general health, sleep, obesity, nutrition, asthma, sports physicals, family factors, and even quality monitoring. For people who are specializing in children with disabilities, there are more specific tools, which I'll show you in a moment. So one of the topics for today is to show you how Chatez can help in the care and screening of children with autism spectrum disorder, or ASD. The most commonly used autism screening tool is the MChat, now the MChat-R, with its follow-up interview. The follow-up interview has been shown to be necessary to achieve adequate specificity, and we've automated that, as you can see, through a link in Chatez, allowing the clinician to get the correct prompts for the items to be following up on positive screen items, and instantly scoring in the background. This has been validated for completion by primary care providers, and at the 2-year-old visit, it lowers the false positive rate by 90%, making it much more efficient for all care providers and for people receiving referrals. We published this data in 2016. But what became evident to us in our research, as described in these presentations and paper publications, is that things don't work nearly as well at the 18-month visit. And that's very important because earlier detection and earlier intervention provide better outcomes. So the items were not truly appropriate at 18 months and are separated by being only yes/no response options. So while things are better at 24 months than 18 months, adding language items was something we showed as an improvement. And now we've tested out scoring as well as a machine learning algorithm, which I'm going to show you in a moment. So here we are with the regular MChat-R with its somewhat low specificity of 0.66. As a result, the MChat-R follow-up interview is recommended, as I mentioned, which raises the specificity to 0.90. However, it still leaves you with a positive predictive value of only 0.36. We explored the use of two tools which have dimensional response options available for the parent, the QChat and the POSI, Shown here, the POSI is the parent observation of social interaction. And when used together, the specificity was improved to 0.81 without requiring the follow-up interview, which is somewhat cumbersome and generally not done in pediatric practice. However, even with this improvement in specificity, the positive predictive value is only 0.38. Now, the authors of the MCHAT and the MCHAT follow-up assert that the people who are positive on those tools also have other kinds of problems, even if they don't have autism. And in fact, at 18 months, we found that 51% of kids with false positive MCHAT-R with follow-up did have a developmental delay as per the gold standard Mullen assessment. However, the MCHAT-R with follow-up correctly identified only 19% of kids who had false negative ages and stages developmental screens as being true positives for delay. So many children were still being missed. So we took advantage of the amount of data available when collected through this tool at 18 months, trying to improve the way screening can be conducted at 18 months using machine learning methodology. Now, what this means is that we took a number of different tools that are all parent report tools, had parents of 18-month-olds, both from who had failed a screen and those who had passed, in a large community sample of over 400 children. And we took a look at how the MCHAT did and how this machine learning method did. Now, the machine learning simply means that the parents are seeing questions that are determined by the last question that they answered, and also by age and prematurity, in order to deliver a customized set of questions. This is seamless for the parent and for the clinician because the results are automatically scored by the computer. So here we are with the sensitivity, specificity, and positive predictive value of the MCHAT-R, which at 18 months is rather poor. But the machine learning method, which we call the TADAS, or Toddler Algorithm for Development and Autism Screening, had a sensitivity of wonderful sensitivity of 0.94, specificity 0.87, and a much improved positive predictive value of 0.58. In addition, that same tool is simultaneously detecting developmental delay at a very high level, better than the ages and stages itself, with a sensitivity of 0.89, specificity 0.79, and a positive predictive value of 0.61. When you look at the combined possibility of autism or developmental delay, things were even better, sensitivity 0.94, specificity 0.81, positive predictive value 0.67. So we're very excited about this result because 18 months is such an important age. You'll still can use the MCHAT plus the MCHAT follow-up interview effectively at 24 months, but at 18 months, this is a much better way to go. Now, I want to point out that Chatez has all kinds of other tools for screening and assessing kids with either autism or developmental delay. And you can look back at these slides later to see the exact things. But what you can see is we have diagnostic tools, screening tools, developmental tools regarding feeding problems, developmental history, language tools, motor assessment, and developmental screening tools, as well as family and environment tools, and tools about family trauma, and even quality monitoring tools. Now, we know that a lot of people taking care of autism and children with development are also taking care of general mental health concerns, and Chatez is perfect for this as well, helping with intake, screening, and diagnosis for all kinds of mental health conditions in children and adults. Here is a range of the adult tools that are available in Chatez as well, all to be done online before visits or in the waiting room. Chatez can be done on any internet-connected device, and most people these days prefer a smartphone and to use the language, English, Spanish, or French, and the results are visible to the clinician, instantly scored. This is what the ages and stages looks like to parents on a computer. They'd simply click these radio buttons, but it can also be done one question at a time on a tablet in the tablet view, and here's where the patient can choose their language. When they choose Spanish, the questions appear in Spanish, but the results appear for the clinician in English. Clinicians then get a table of results with stars for the positives pass, fail, or disorder, problem, variation, or challenge results, depending on the type of questionnaire it is. And in every case, they can choose to preview or include the exact questions that were asked and answers that were given. One particular feature of Chatez that's very exciting for the care of children with autism is that the Childhood Autism Rating Scale, or CARS, parent version, once done online, can then incorporate its responses directly in the questionnaire for the clinician to complete. So here in red are the parents' responses to these items, and the clinician can check off their own rating based on further history and observation. Chatez also automates the theory of mind with cartoon prompts, making it easy to do that test. In addition, Chatez has advanced decision support useful for mental health care, where there's a template that covers all the areas essential to the care of a child with a mental health concern, but they're pre-populated by questionnaire results, and this can be multiple questionnaires by multiple respondents. The template then presents the results, as well as giving interview result options and guidelines, decision support, graphics. It even makes pre-populated letters and care plans. It creates auto text that can be edited, that can be used in the final report and copy-pasted into an electronic health record as well as printed. There's patient-specific education that's automatically sent to the Child's Care Portal webpage, which I'll tell you about more in a moment. And because this documents clinician action, it can help with things like value-based payment. Now, because this is a system that's collecting both patient and clinician data, it's perfect for research and forms a research database. You can have a data dump at any point you'd like. Now, I'd like to point out how Chatez helps with shared decision-making and monitoring during visits. Shared decision-making is helped by graphics. This is a graphic of the Vanderbilt. Chatez will send an invitation to teachers electronically and get the results back so that they seamlessly appear along with the parents' results. In this graphic, green is good, red is bad, and you can see 2 points in time where the child is making progress. There, of course, scored results are also available. You can see graphics over time. Here's a case of the patient health questionnaire for depression, or PHQ-9. And these tools can be scheduled to be sent to the patient by a link, which is HIPAA compliant, reminding the patient to do questionnaires between visits, which is also billable to insurance in the United States. Now, how about patient education? Well, I mentioned that every patient gets their own web page. Here's an example of a web page for a young child where the developmental milestones have been pre-populated, and the patient can put in their own pictures, but the parents can put in comments, and the therapist could also, by invitation from the patient, from the parent, add comments to the care portal. Now, on these other tabs at the top, there's additional information. But what I'd like to show you next is the developmental curriculum that's formed for children. So here's an example of a child's milestone, and there's a link to suggested activities, suggesting things the parent can do to promote positive parent-child interaction and developmentally stimulating activities. In addition to that, this care portal provides links to things like handouts, videos, and resources, including your local resources, which we'll put in to make it easy to be prescribed at a simple click. In terms of how Chatez can help integrate behavioral health with primary care, because we have tools in Chatez for both primary care and mental health, it's a good system for both mental health providers and primary care providers to share individual patients or a whole panel of patients. And there's primary care provider training built right into Chatez, as well as the ability to make referrals outside to community resources. We call this our care coordination functionality. The patients complete an online consent form in Chatez, giving permission not only to share information, but also for them, and to let the primary care provider know if they kept their appointment. This forms an automatic tracking system, as well as with a BAA signed with the outside provider, the ability to share entire reports securely online, and that means because Chatez is connected to the electronic record for that data to go into the electronic record. Chatez can also make a registry of any condition that's been screened for because it's a digital system. Now, one of the advantages that we see is the opportunity to build a system of care, as we've done in Montgomery County, Maryland, the system of care for developmental delay in autism. So here, the parents are completing screening tools as advised by their primary care provider. The primary care provider sees the results, discusses it with the family, refers kids who are positive to the specialist. The specialist can see the referral information and follow up with the parents and put their results of their evaluation and coaching right into Chatez that's sent back to the primary care provider. So we think this holds great promise in all kinds of settings, remote or proximal. Now, Chatez can help with research, of course, because everything's digital. We can put additional questionnaires and forms into Chatez, including forms for clinicians or research assistants to complete. As I've shown you, we can do online consent forms, send reminders to patients to do questionnaires for follow-up that allows getting outcome data and allowing for between visit or outcome remote monitoring with data dumps at your request. Now, Chatez now has functionality that allows for the creation automatically of reliable change control charts that are useful for quality improvement and research efforts. And in the United States, additional revenue can be gleaned with special billing codes that are available for this type of screen. So when you get a license to Chatez, you get hundreds of questionnaires, patient-specific templates, a Chatez e-chapters and handouts, resource database, the memory book care portal, and unlimited customer service, as well as online admin training. And a la carte, you can have additional tools that are proprietary to publishing houses, MOC Part 4 programs for physician credit, quality improvement run charts, and reports of practice data. I hope that you will find this exciting and will want to hear more and talk to us about your specific needs. Please get in touch with us at info@chatez.com or email me directly, bhoward@chatez.com. Thank you.